like most of the problems in this practice section, we're simply solving the equations. This one is the square root of 2x minus 4 equals negative x. And unlike the other ones, we don't have a no solution option on this one, but be careful about that. Don't automatically think that there isn't an extraneous solution, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll flip back over here to my notebook paper. You need to be able to see the problem. And again, we need to isolate the square root. So we'll start by adding 4 to both sides. We get the square root of 2x equals negative x plus 4. If you wrote 4 minus x, there is nothing wrong with that. We want to get rid of the square root. So we're going to use the inverse operation, which is to square. And square rooting and squaring cancel each other out. So we're left with 2x equals negative x plus 4 squared. But I think it was the first problem that we did a little while ago, if you've been watching all of the videos. And what happens is that we need to remember that squared means times itself. So when we rewrite this, we get 2x equals negative x plus 4 times negative x plus 4. And we're going to have to double distribute it or FOIL. So be careful of your signs. Negative x times negative x is positive x squared. Negative x times 4 is negative 4x. Positive 4 times negative x is negative 4x. And positive 4 times positive 4 is positive 16. We can combine like terms. And when we do, we get 2x equals x squared minus 8x plus 16. And we're going to have to solve here, so let's move this 2x over the other side by subtracting. We want the equation set equal to 0. And then we're going to have to factor. By the way, you could use the quadratic formula, but the factors of 16 are 1 times 16, 2 times 8, and 4 times 4. And we can ask ourselves, are there any factors that combine to be 10? Combine means either add or subtract to be 10. And it is 2 and 8. In fact, it's negative 2 plus negative 8. And that's going to mean that we're going to split the middle here. So it's going to be x squared minus 2x minus 8x plus 16. And what we've got in our first group, sorry, I paused the video for a moment. The greatest common factor in the first group is x, and then we're left with x minus 2. Be careful with that minus. The greatest common factor between 8x and 16 is 8. The biggest number that divides into both. Negative 8x divided by negative 8 is x. 16 divided by negative 8 is negative 2. And what we have is we have an x minus 2 in each group. And then our remaining factors are x minus 8. So we take each of these factors and we set them equal to 0. So x minus 2 equals 0. X minus 8 equals 0. And we add 2 to both sides. We get x equals 2. We add 8 to both sides. We get x equals 8. But now, you can't see those, but now we need to go back into Desmos and we need to check those answers. So I need to turn my iPad back on. But here's Desmos. And the problem was the square root. So again, when we look down at the bottom of the screen, the square root, but the first answer that we found was x equals 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2, arrow out of that, and then minus 8. And what we want it to equal is, we want that to equal, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong problem. I need to go back. Minus 4 is what it needs to be. And we want the answer to be negative 8, I believe. So what do we, we put in 2. So we put in 2, actually, one more time. 2 times 2, minus 4. And then on the other side of the equation, we had negative x. So this is going to leave us with negative 2. So they do match. But we had 2 answers. So we need to do the second one, which is going to be the square root of 2 times 8. And then arrow out of that, minus 4. And what we want this to equal on the other side is we want this to equal negative 8. Well, 2 times 8, square root of 2 times 8 minus 4 is 0, which means that when we go back to our problem here, that 8 is extraneous. I usually write EXT. And when we go back into our problem on Edmentum, what happens is, what is the solution? Well, the solution to this problem is just 2. It's not 2 and 8, which was one of the options. If it's extraneous, you don't check that answer.